had a question, and you guys can both maybe answer this separately because of the two different companies that you work for. But staying up with technology and having to put it up on the websites or staying up with comedy, where do you guys actually go out and look for this stuff? Are you guys constantly tab browsing on your own personal computers, or how are you gauging that? Where are you going, and what are the tools that you're using?
Well, for the tech world, that's a very big chore.
It's
actually.
a huge chore.
Yeah.
I will say, the internet is vast, and I'm constantly looking for the end of it, and I haven't found it yet, so I need help with that. But I get ideas from things I see on Twitter, things I find in my. I try to do an hour of just messing around a day. I don't always succeed with that, but just trying to follow this, follow that, follow this, follow that. See what somebody's referenced on Twitter. I'm really careful about people I follow.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not going to work.
I'm launching 3 shows in May. All 3 of them have come because of people who know somebody. People who, either somebody I've worked with before in Colin's situation, meeting the CEO, and then there's another person that said, hey, my friends are working on this thing, check this out. And those are all coming to fruition. I absolutely 100% agree with that, 150,000% agree with that. The good news is it's become easier than ever to network because there's Twitter, there's Facebook, there's LinkedIn, there's these things that you throw around as buzzwords, and the people that throw around as buzzwords and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Like they're the ones that are usually the politicians, they're usually the people on TV. You know what it is, you know how to use it, dig in, and it really is a useful tool. It's an amazing thing when you see someone like @reply you and you're like, okay, well, they're asking this question. I think I'm going to actually answer this, or maybe I'll direct message, and suddenly that becomes, you don't have any idea who this person is, but they're saying something that's interesting, and you're going back and forth. Suddenly you've made a connection, and you may transition over to email or whatever it may be. But that's become easier. But I will say, to Colin's point, the old-fashioned get out there, meet people, talk to people. Every single job I've gotten has been because of somebody I knew who referred me, or somebody who I ran into, or some random thing of, oh, there's this thing. This is what LA is all about. LA actually is the best town for this because it's like, you go out, you stumble into, trip over, maybe just kind of drunk a lot, is like working in a business, and they're like, hey, oh, you're an editor, my friend's hiring an editor for this thing, or you're this or whatever, there's just that. In this town, it happens too, it's just in a smaller circle. So anything you hear of in the networking space for media, just go. Get a drink, follow people. It's so good to meet people.
And to Ryan's point about one of the coolest things about new media, I have a number of people who are probably your age who work for me at Revision3 Comedy, and in many ways the opportunities that I'm giving them to kind of do all kinds of stuff, I never would have gotten when I sort of started doing this. Way back when, it was like, if I got on a film set, it was like, okay, you're the 5th assistant to the gaffer, and that's the deal. That's it, right? In other words, you bring the other gaffer water. There's a huge opportunity, so it's especially when you're just trying to get in, because I think that's just one of our themes here tonight, is when you're just trying to figure out, like, okay, how can I kind of get involved with this stuff? 2 things. One, take the gig, just do it. Get in there, be friendly, make friends, talk to people. You're going to do stuff that you're like, I hate this sucks, but that's how you get to the other things where you go, oh, that's kind of cool. I'll throw a little second nugget of wisdom in there. Probably the best single piece of advice, again, this is coming from somebody who, I was very involved in the fine arts and surrounded by, in many ways, a culture and people who are very obsessed with, going to make feature films, be open. Be open. Don't go into your career with sort of like I definitely want to direct this kind of a thing. I almost can guarantee you that's probably not where you'll end up. And there's no huge, everyone loves to see the, behind the music from somebody who's like, I knew I was going to be a country singer my whole life. It's like, well, that's great for you. Okay, that just does not really work out for anybody else, and that's fine. In fact, the world would suck if that were the case, because then like everybody would be like this amazing, thing. Now, be open, because what you'll find is that what you kind of thought you wanted to do and what you're actually good at may be different. No big deal, because if you find something that you are good at, that's pretty much as you could ever ask of life. I mean, in your career, is it like, hey, I'm actually good at this, and there's a need out there, and I can have a job maybe doing something I'm really good at that's kind of in this whole sphere. So keep an open mind.